appointed as the co-chair of the Intergovernmental Commission, and it shows the dedication that the Romanian side pays to this relationship, to these activities. Therefore, I would like to highlight that Azerbaijani side also mentioned and persistently showed the big interest in the development of our relation, and these relations to encounter all sectors of economy, humanitarian, social life of both countries, and we think that we have managed to establish very good links on various dimensions. Last year's results are showing good dynamics. Our trade turnover has increased to 31%. This year, even better performance in first 4 months of this year. The trade turnover between the countries have increased almost 3 times, 2.8 times. On the other hand, investment relations are developing. Both Romanian companies and Azerbaijani companies are active in Romania and Azerbaijan. State-owned companies active in Romanian market. On the other hand, beside the economic relations, in the humanitarian field, we have established very close links based on the mutual understanding, mutual respect to the culture, to the social life, to the people-to-people contact between our countries. I would like to highlight that Azerbaijani side is very well represented in today's meeting to discuss on extensive pace all the segments of our relations, and I think that this Intergovernmental Commission will pave a new road for increasing these relations. In our bilateral meeting, we discussed transport, we discussed agriculture, we discussed energy, we discussed increasing the tourism, we discussed intercultural relations, and I think that all the segments are very important between the strategic partners. Again, welcome to Azerbaijan, and good luck for our meeting.
Dear Prime Minister Babayev, dear colleagues, thank you very much for receiving us today at the second Joint Committee. The last one, as I remember, was in Bucharest in 2018, and today is a special day, the 30 days of celebration of diplomacy between our two countries, and Romania was the second country that recognized the independence of Azerbaijan after Turkey, and the first without Turkey, if we said, because we have also strategic partnership with Turkey. You are more than brothers with Turkey, so we stand together from that time. And was the first country that has, from EU, that has a strategic partnership with Azerbaijan, and I think we can do great things together, not only in the energy field, because we started and it's my 5th time, I think, in Azerbaijan, and we started talking about gas. And from gas, we try to enlarge the circle, and now we have this joint committee with all our colleagues from our governments. I have my colleagues here from the Ministry of Agriculture, and we want to establish more economic relations in the agriculture field. We have our colleagues from Transport, from the Ministry of Labour, from the Ministry of Economy, from the Ministry of Commerce, Education. Practically all our colleagues are here, and we want to move forward our strategic partnership. Yes, there are a lot of investments in Azerbaijan and Romania. Sokar is a based company in Romania. As we talked, they have already a big network of petrol stations. They are involved in energy, but I think that's room for more investment, there's room for more cooperation, more joint venture in the energy field, and also in other fields. Today, I won't speak about energy. I will let my colleagues, my deputy minister, to speak in the name of the Ministry of Energy about energy. I want also to welcome this joint committee and to give floors to all our colleagues to express to share their thought about our meeting. Thank you very much once again, and let's move forward.
Thank you very much, Mr. Professor. So we pass to the first item on our agenda, which is the bilateral diplomatic relations, and I would like to give the floor to Mr. Mahmoud Mehmet, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Dear Ministers, distinguished colleagues, it gives me a pleasure to deliver this statement at the 6th session of the Joint Commission. This year's session also coincides with the 30th anniversary of the establishment of the diplomatic relations between our countries. Romania was the first country among the EU member states to recognize state independence of Azerbaijan on 11 December 1991. Azerbaijan and Romania maintain friendly relations on the basis of mutual respect for the fundamental principles of international law, including the inviolability of borders, sovereignty and territorial integrity, and that relations have been developing dynamically over the past 30 years. Romania was the first EU country to conclude with Azerbaijan a strategic partnership. At the same time, Azerbaijan remains the only strategic partner of Romania in the South Caucasus. Our countries have been continuously cooperating in broad-range areas, from political dialogue and economic cooperation, investment, cooperation in the field of energy, to humanitarian and cultural cooperation. In fact, the cooperation in the energy sector has remained the cornerstone of our bilateral economic relations. At the same time, Azerbaijan is keen to further expand its trade relations with Romania. The significance of the regional transport connectivity is increasing day by day, and Romanian companies would benefit from the transit opportunities offered by Azerbaijan. Along with our bilateral relations, Romania as an EU member is also an important partner of Azerbaijan. We always felt support extended by Romania within many initiatives and endeavors in the way of strengthening relations with the EU. Taking this into account, we look forward to further strengthening our bilateral ties and in this area as well. Dear colleagues, the trilateral statement signed on 10 November 2020 between Azerbaijan, Armenia and Russia has put an end of the conflict and set agreed parameters for establishing durable peace in the region. Now that the war is over and the conflict has been resolved, the priorities of Azerbaijan at the current post-conflict stage have been stated unambiguously, including at the highest political level. These are the soonest and effective post-conflict rehabilitation, reconstruction, and reintegration and normalization of interstate relations. The government of Azerbaijan has already initiated practical steps aiming at eliminating the consequences of the decades-old occupation of the territories of Azerbaijan by Armenia, accompanied by massive destruction. Opening all transport and communication links in the South Caucasus in implementation of trilateral statements will pave the way not only for economic prosperity of the region, but also for diversification and development of newly emerged transit transport routes between Europe and Asia. Due to the geostrategic location, Azerbaijan has made an enormous contribution to the launch of the regional connectivity project. Azerbaijan is now working on the realization of Zangezur corridor, which will be an integral part of the East-West corridor connecting Asia and Europe through Azerbaijan. The corridor will allow Azerbaijan to strengthen its position at Euro-Asia transport and logistics hub. In conclusion, let me express my confidence that the protocol to be signed as the result of today's meeting will serve the goal to enhancing our economic and trade relations by opening new cooperation horizons. Let me thank you for your attention and wish you interactive dialogue and informative discussion within today's Commission.
Thank you. I will give the floor to Ambassador Sosial.
Thank you very much, Minister. Dear Ministers, dear co-chairs, dear colleagues. Of course, I will not repeat, because I must repeat after Mr. Mohamed Guleev to touch the same issues. But in few words, I would say that as embassies of the countries, me and my colleague in Bucharest, as the two ministers of foreign affairs, of course we are working on all areas, keeping tempo, and every time we are involved in promoting, starting with political dialogue from high level until sectorial level. It's our duty to work permanent on this mode. So, of course, our strategic partnership first among the EU countries, from Romanian perspective, it is very important. I was a direct participant in the elaborating of that text. When we are looking back now, I can assure you that it was a real visionary idea to connect Romania and Azerbaijan, and concluding also in strategic frame all this vision. To connect Caspia with Black Sea and Europe, now after 13-14 years, became the reality. So having very excellent political dialogue on the high level, on the sectorial level, we have a huge potential to see this reality adding real and concrete projects. So this is, of course, duty of our sectorial area, ministers, all institutions to do their job, and I would recommend to be very proactive, because having this excellent political dialogue, having this frame of strategic partnership, and have this unique friendship between Romanians and Azerbaijanis, we have all conditions to say, I would say in short time, in few 1-2 years, to show to others that we really can create that relation which was not in this area. It is not exaggeration, but I see this real potential. We have all ingredients for that. So I just encourage, and me with my colleague, we are in touch permanently. We are working on that. So let's move forward to have more contacts and more meetings, and annual meeting of the Joint Commission, adding new areas of cooperation. So I'm really optimistic on this. In a few years we will have a real bridge, also physical, between Baku and Romania, Baku Constanța, Azerbaijan, Romania, Black Sea and Caspian Sea. Of course, we can talk until morning about potential between Romania and Azerbaijan, but just saying a few words, this is the real frame of our vision on the bilateral relations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Now we are moving to the next chapter, which is the trade, economy and investment. First, I would like to give the floor to the Deputy Minister of Economy, to Sahib Mehmedov. Thereafter, we will have 2 more speakers from the Azerbaijani side.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. Dear co-chairs, honorable participants, firstly, I would like to avail myself of this opportunity to welcome all participants on behalf of the Minister of Economy of the Republic of Azerbaijan. As it was mentioned, today's meeting coincides with the 30th anniversary of establishment of political relations between Azerbaijan and Romania, which built a strong foundation for bilateral economic relations as well. Despite the challenge we have faced during COVID pandemic, mutual cooperation and support between our countries helped us overcome the negative consequences and retain our international cooperation at the same level. In this context, I would like to highlight a few moments on economic relations between Azerbaijan and Romania and achievements in Azerbaijan. I would like to point out some achievements in bilateral trade. As Mr. Minister Babayev mentioned already, our growth of trade between our countries in 2021 was more than 31%, whereas an increase in export and import was about 19% and 52% respectively. On the other hand, the trade turnover reached $158 million, more than doubling in the first 5 months of 2022. An increase in export was threefold, with $125 million compared with the same period of 2021. As regards investment cooperation, Azerbaijan invested about $105 million to Romanian economy, whereas Romanian investments in Azerbaijan amounted to $30 million. Romanian companies which operate in Azerbaijan, they are operating in the sectors such as construction, trade, transport, communications, and services sector. I'd like to underline that the current statistical data doesn't reflect the real potential of our countries, and I'm confident that today's meeting of the Joint Commission will create additional opportunities and have a positive impact on the current state of economic trade relations between our countries. Honorable participants, let me kindly remind that this year Mr. Mikhail Japarov, the Minister of Economy, and Mr. Popescu had several meetings where the development of economic bonds and energy cooperation were the main headlines. We believe that our accomplishments in energy fields will be reflected in other sectors as well. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I'd like just to move to the second part of my speech briefly to give overview of latest economic achievements in Azerbaijan. As a result of the steps implemented in order to maintain macroeconomic and financial stability after COVID-19 outbreak in 2021, our GDP growth was 5.6%, non-core GDP grew by 7.2%. The increase was registered in January-May of this year with 7.2% in GDP and 11% in nominal GDP, compared with the same period of last year. One of the priorities for us is the increased volume of non-oil exports, which recorded about 31% growth in the above-mentioned period. Dear friends, new headlines of our current social economic development are steadily growing economy, dynamic and inclusive society based on social justice, competitive human capital and space for innovations, green return to the liberty territories, and clean environment and green growth country. These are 5 national priorities which announced by our long-term strategy, Azerbaijan 2030 Social Economic Development Strategy, which was approved in February 2021. Our goal is to turn Azerbaijan into the foreign investment destination, strategic hub in energy, transport, logistics, and the center of the post-industrial revolution. Dear friends, allow me to mention that the government of Azerbaijan continues to improve business investment environment, both institutional and practical level in the country. A number of incentives are being offered to foreign investors, as well as within the industrial zones. Last but not least, one of the remarkable impulses for doing a favorable and promising business in Azerbaijan will be the Allied Economic Free Zone, which presents a competitive environment for investment activities in all sector. Meanwhile, we are engaged in mass restoration and reconstruction activities, introducing a broad-scale projects to expand the economic potential of the liberated territories of Azerbaijan and reintegrate that potential to the economic cycle of the country. And these projects envisage new concepts such as smart villages and smart cities and alternative energy projects, renewables, which apply the latest technologies and innovations. As a part of the successful industrial policy, the Agdam Industrial Park and Araz Valley Economic Zone Industrial Park with broad package of incentives and modern infrastructure provided have been created in the liberated territories in order to attract investment. These parks are planned to be a site for large enterprises as well as small manufacturing and service businesses operating in various industries, including construction, logistics, food production, and other fields. The Araz Valley Economic Zone Industrial Park in turn provides all the necessary tools and impetus for the development of the logistics transit chain of the country and the region in general. In this regard, I'd like once more to stress the significance of expanding economic cooperation between Azerbaijan and Romania. The action plan of the 6th meeting provides broad opportunities for cooperation between industrial zones and agro-parks of the both countries, which means cooperation in the fields of industry, agriculture, SMEs, investment promotion, etc. We encourage the related agencies, chambers and organizations of both sides to take the advantage of to continue cooperation for the best result in trade and investment relations. We welcome any kind of initiatives from the Romanian business community to expand bilateral ties between our countries. To sum up my speech, I would like to wish success to the Commission in its future activity. I'm confident that we will continue to strengthen our fruitful and mutually beneficial cooperation. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. The next speech is for Orhan Ahmedov, Chairman of the Small and Medium Business Development Agency.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. I'm sure that today's meeting will give us a number of positive impact for implementation of joint activities in various fields, including small and medium business. Small and medium business development agency of Azerbaijan's mandate covers studying best international practices on providing services to SMEs and establishing cooperation with foreign counterparts to promote direct link between businesses. We are also interested to apply this approach with our partners from Romania. We have already agreed MOU between our agency and the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Romania. We think that this is a great initial step for conducting experience exchange and promoting cooperation between SMEs of our countries, as well as focusing on startup development, women entrepreneurship, and organization of specific thematic and sectoral events. Of course, there is a potential for future cooperation in the SME sector, and I may outline the following. First, we are ready to share our successful experience in operating SME houses in Azerbaijan, which are one-stop shop offering more than 100 G2B and B2B services combined, as well as SME development centers, which offer capacity building, as well as consulting services, all free of charge. The second, there is a need to enhance partnership among business network of two countries, which is also an also in our today's agenda. We will be glad to see regular mutual visits with participation of Romanian and Azerbaijan entrepreneurs. Our agency will be actively involved in supporting these initiatives as well. Together with all related authorities, we can also work on creating a joint business platforms for cooperation among SMEs. Of course, it will enable close and direct contacts among businesses and business communities from both countries, and our agency is ready to coordinate the process from Azerbaijani side. Of course, the related areas of Azerbaijan also offer vast opportunities, and we will be ready to coordinate requests of Romanian investors wishing to conduct business activities in the Karabakh region in future. Our PPP center is already ready to negotiate with Romanian businesses on potential projects as well. So once again, I would like to underline that our agency is open to partnership and long-time cooperation with our colleagues from Romania. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. The next speech is given to Mr. Ismail Mamafor, Deputy Chairman of Alert Authority.
Honorable co-chairs, ministers, excellencies, ambassadors, dear participants and guests. Thank you for the opportunity to inform the members of the Intergovernmental Commission about electric economic zone project and why we are so confident in attractiveness of our project. First reason for this, the establishment and the successful development of electric economic zone is an important part of general policy of the President and the Government of the Republic of Azerbaijan to develop a knowledge-based and internationally competitive economy, which will allow Azerbaijan to become a highly competitive participant in international economic relations with diversified and export-oriented economy. Second reason is unique legal basis of electric economic zone. The legislation of the electric economic zone consists of the law of the Republic of Azerbaijan on electric economic zone adopted by Parliament of Azerbaijan and signed by the President of Azerbaijan as prevailing law of Azerbaijan, and internal regulation of electric economic zone adopted and signed by electric economic zone authority. It means that not only law of Azerbaijan electric economic zone, but even our internal regulation adopted by our authority, taking precedence over basic economy. To clearly demonstrate precedence of electric economic zone legislation over basic economy legislation and exclude any possibility of any conflicts in interpretation of the provision of electric economic zone legislation and basic economy legislation, relevant amendments were made in more than 85 basic economy laws, including constitutional law on normative legal acts, tax, customs, licensing, labor, also dispute resolution, and this process is continuing. There are 24 internal regulations adopted and signed by electric economic zone authority, and I would like to mention a couple of them. Company licensing, planning and building, dispute resolution and migration in its sector. Moreover, we will provide to our investor a package of fiscal and non-fiscal incentives, exemption from all taxes, exemption from all customs, no personal income tax for local personnel, no social security payments and other similar taxes and payments for foreign skilled persons, independent regulatory form, and other standard package of fiscal. In addition to business-friendly legislation, fiscal and non-fiscal incentives, we will provide our industrial landlords with ready of use off-site and on-site infrastructure and utilities. Based on approved by Electric Economic Zone Authority Master Plan, Electric Economic Zone initially will occupy a total site approximately 850 hectares, located next to the seaport of Baku and global transport corridors. Moreover, the government reserved more than 8,000 hectares for our future expansion. I'm sure that it will be very attractive to our potential clients that in accordance with the law of the Republic of Azerbaijan on electric economic zone, the government granted the free zone authority an irrevocable and future and perpetual rights of use over the free zone land, and only free zone authority is entitled to use, lease, or otherwise dispose the free zone land. The physical development program is on schedule, and we are planning to finish development of on-site infrastructure for phase 1 and open for business in July 2022. After the completion of construction work on phase 1, 60 hectares, we are planning to start construction work on 84 hectares on phase 2 development. But due to a high number of committed investors who are willing to invest in electric economic zone, we have to increase phase 2 development from 84 to 138 hectares and start construction works on 138 hectares this year. Finally, we have two goals, and both are crucial. First, we will create the best possible business environment for electric economic zone clients so they have all they need to successfully establish and develop their businesses in electric economic zone. At the same time, we will support expansion and growth of businesses of our clients into the future. Secondly, we want to demonstrate to the people of Azerbaijan what the transition to internationally competitive and knowledge-based economy means in practice, to support and assist our entrepreneurs, our business entities to learn and practice a new business culture, new technologies, generate innovative enterprises to create real value for the economy and the people of Azerbaijan. Of course, business enterprises from Romania will be welcome in electric economy. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. I'd like to give the floor to Mr. Flavius Constantin Andelsa, State Secretary of the Ministry of Economy.
Thanks. Dear Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure and honor for me to participate to this very important meeting, having in mind the continuous development of relations between Romania and Azerbaijan. I would like, first of all, to congratulate the Azerbaijan side for the excellent program and the organization of the 6th session of the Joint Commission. It is well known that Romania was the first Euro country to sign and set up a strategic partnership with the Republic of Azerbaijan in 2009 and an action plan in 2011 to implement it. As well, I would like to underline the importance of the 3rd anniversary this year of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Romania and Azerbaijan. Ladies and gentlemen, Romania is a key member of the European Union, a country located at the crossroads of Southeastern and Central Europe, bordering the Black Sea and controlling about 1,000 kilometers of the Danube River. Given the size of the country, Romania is one of the top-ranked countries in Europe with a large market base. Since in 2007, when Romania became a member of the European Union, our country undergone reform programs in all fields of activities, becoming today one of the most politically, economically, and socially stable countries in the European Union. As part of the Euro, Romania and companies registered in Romania have access to Euro funds directed towards development of the member states. One of the most significant advantages of investing in Romania is the strategic geographic location of the country at the crossroads of 3 large markets and easy getaway for foreign investors to easily access the markets. Romania has access to the necessary means to become even more attractive for foreign direct investments. The newly established Europe Recovery and Resales Facility focuses on raising issues for investors such as climate reform and digital transition, providing record-level funds for Europe member states. The size stands for billions of Europe and scope of this plan will improve a lot Romania's attractiveness for foreign investment even more. In Romania, foreign investors can readily have access to highly qualified labor force with very good technical qualification at a low cost, one of the most competitive labor force cost in Europe, and the fiscal regime is very friendly. Foreign direct investment in Romania increased by 34% in the first 4 months of 2022 compared with the same period of last year. As well, the number of new companies with foreign capital registered in Romania in the first 4 months of this year was 28 higher compared with the last year. Ladies and gentlemen, it is in our mutual benefit to develop as much as possible the ties between Romania and Azerbaijan, two countries that in many fields have common interests and goals. I'm sure that the 6th session of the Joint Commission held in Baku, the beautiful capital of Azerbaijan, these days will bring a strong contribution to our present and future project of close cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we are moving to the next chapter. Just before moving, we have finalized trade, economy and investment issues. And based on our discussions with Mr. Co-Chair, we have highlighted that there's a very strong intention and strong will between the political leadership of both countries, as well as very strong support from the Commission as well. Therefore, I invite our colleagues in the economy, investment and trade block during the lunchtime, as well as after lunch during the daytime, to additionally meet, discuss the possibilities, opportunities, where we can identify new projects, new developments, and where we can get more and more benefit from these both countries. Now moving to the energy chapter, from Azerbaijani side, the floor is given to Mr. Kemal Abbasov, Deputy Minister of Energy, and thereafter Vice President Sosial also will have a speech. Please, Kemal.
Thank you very much, dear ministers, dear colleagues. At the outset, allow me to welcome you all in Baku at the 6th session of the Joint Commission. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to His Excellency Mr. Popescu for his active participation in the last meeting of the Southern Gas Corridor Advisory Council and the Baku Energy Week. I believe that as a result of today's meeting, in which the action plan of the protocol of the 6th session of the Joint Commission between Azerbaijan and Romania will be adopted, the cooperation between our countries, especially in the energy sector, will expand. Today, Azerbaijan plays an important role in international efforts on energy resources. The clear indication of this contribution is Southern Gas Corridor. I would like to mention that we have been continuing our discussion regarding the potential gas supply to Romania in near future. The action plan envisages expanding cooperation between our energy companies in various areas, including the supply of gas to the final consumer in the Romanian domestic market, and in general plans to build gas distribution networks. Participation in the projects such as the gas to power in Romania, which are of interest of Romania and EU. The Black Sea submarine power and digital connectivity project between Azerbaijan, Georgia and Romania is one of the cooperation areas between our countries. The importance of the project is expanding the export opportunities of electricity between the region and the European market. We invite Romanian companies to participate to the upcoming renewable energy auctions in Azerbaijan. Also, I think it will be beneficial for both countries to exchange information on the investment projects in the field of renewable energy. I believe that as a result of today's discussions, we will be able to achieve concrete results. Thank you for your attention. I wish every success to the work of the Joint Commission.
Thank you very much, Chairman Martin. Now the floor is given to Chairman Najafov, Vice President of Sosial.
Many thanks. Greetings, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Azerbaijan and Romania have a lot in common, and one of them is the long-standing traditions in oil and gas and hydrocarbon production. Sokar has been in Romania for the past 11 years. We have invested 68 million euros in your country. We employ 729 people in Romania. We own 67 fuel stations, 3 storage depots. We supply crude oil products, various chemicals, and we're also currently discussing gas supply options and strategies to a good country via Turkey and via other possible routes. What is Sokar in general? It's a diversified, integrated oil and gas and now energy company as well. We are active in exploration and production of oil and gas. We are active in refining in Azerbaijan and in Turkey. We have also facilities in petrochemicals in Azerbaijan and Turkey. We have an international trading business. We have a diversified oil and gas services business, ranging from construction to drilling and engineering. Geographically, we are based in Azerbaijan, but we're also active in Romania, Turkey, Ukraine, Georgia, Switzerland, and many other countries. We are constantly reinventing our strategy and defining our vision both in traditional businesses, but also in the new businesses, in the new energy businesses like decarbonization, renewables, and energy transition in general. We are extremely keen to cooperate with our strategic partners, such as Romania and good companies. I wish you a pleasant stay in Azerbaijan and look forward to our fruitful cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you. I promise I won't speak about energy, so I pass the floor to my colleague, the Deputy Minister, Mr. George Nicolescu.
Thank you very much. Dear Ministers, dear colleagues, let me say from the beginning that it is a great honor for me to present the level of discussions in the energy sector due to the fact that, as it was mentioned before, energy lies in the core